I haven't thought about Alvin and the Chipmunks in years, but I ended up stumbling upon a video by David on Demand where he watched the first two movies, but the Chipmunks' voices were pitched down. For some reason, this got me inspired to write Alvin and the Chipmunks all grown up. This is basically fan fiction, like the original characters with the chipmunk tint. Like, they're barely even the same character. I mean, some of them are like, okay, bar for bar, this is like, okay, I could see them growing up to be like this. But some people, I went off the rails. So, some people, there's only 6 characters. Okay, I'm only designing the chipmunks and the chipettes. Dave in this AU is dead. So, that's how you know this AU is not serious at all. If you don't like it, then leave. There's the door, girl. I was about to say a bad word, but you can't say that in the first minute. I don't know, don't ask me. I will be humanizing them because my ass is not learning how to drop chipmunks. I don't have the mental energy or capacity for that. This video is even less for redesign video and more of just me wanting to dump all this lore I made up. And with all that rambling out the way, let's get into the real rambling. For Alvin, I had an immediate clear vision for him. He basically entered the beloved child star to the addiction and quarter-life crisis pipeline. Alvin basically had the whole world captivated with his rebellious, heartthrob child persona, but he wanted to break out of that, be more mature, an adult. He was tired of being put into a box, so when he was 17, he set out on his own and got signed to a not-so-good studio. Alvin obviously isn't the most well-adjusted because he's been in the limelight since he was like 14, which meant that his label could easily indoctrinate him into thinking that, oh, we're all family, trust us. I mean, it's not like his real family cared about him that much. Brittany ended up breaking up with him. Dave's been blaming Alvin for all his life problems since he entered their lives, and his relationship with Simon keeps getting worse and worse by the day. Alvin ended up making the decision to go non-contact with his family, which wasn't really all that much of his decision. It was kind of influenced, but we don't need to talk about that. And that made him feel more lost than ever. This is when his new family, the record label, introduced him to the night. Well, he was already a party boy, but they introduced him to the nightlife, and they got him into doing drugs and all these things to help him, dull the pain, to help him forget about the things that he's lost. Now he's 24, has a crippling addiction, he's being exploited by the label, and he feels more miserable than ever. He wants all of this to stop, but he has no idea what to do. I mean, he can't go back to his family because he hasn't spoken a single word to them in years. He didn't even make it to Dave's funeral, and which still weighs heavy on his heart because even if things are rough, he still loved Dave with all his heart. And he feels extremely guilty for not reconnecting with them earlier. I tried my best to be very sensitive about this topic because obviously substance abuse and child exploitation are not funny, but I just see like this is how Alvin's life would fold out and pan out because this is what happens a lot of times with children in the industry where they're exploited their whole lives and their families don't really, well, even if their families do try to do something, the people who they're working with don't care about the kids and their well-being, so they just they end up growing up to be maladjusted. For Alvin's design, I ended up going very like frat bro, skater bro, very Justin Bieber-esque. It's not clocking to you guys that I'm on business right now. Sorry. That's not even a timely reference. That was like, how many years ago? I'm kidding. It was like a few months ago. I don't know. Things happen all the time. I wanted him to look the most like Dave because I wanted to be like, oh, you ended up growing up into the thing you hated most. Do I look like him? I'm also very surprised to see the vast amount of people hate Alvin, which is very shocking and sad to me because he's probably my favorite chipmunk. Well, okay, Brittany is probably like my fave, but he's probably like my second or third, which is like, I don't know why people hate him. Okay, fine. I can understand why people hate him. He's kind of an asshole, but he's also kind of iconic, like, period. Anyways, that is all for Alvin's design. He looks like an asshole and also kind of fine, which perfect. That's what I wanted to convey. I had a bit of trouble coming up with what Simon's story would be, but I'm satisfied with what I came up with. Simon was the one who originally left the Chipmunks, the first one to leave the boy band. Well, is Alvin and Chipmunks a boy band? I guess it should be considered one. I wouldn't really consider it a boy band, but technically it is one. Anyways, he felt like his work and his talents were constantly being overshadowed. I mean, the name of the group is literally Alvin and the Chipmunks. He set off to make his own music and he got zero motion. He put his heart and soul into the music, but people only cared about him leaving. He was laughed at for setting off on his own and wanting to untie himself from the Alvin and Chipmunk brand. What really set Simon over the edge and what started his downfall was when Alvin decided, okay, since Simon isn't doing all that well, his music isn't taking off, we'll let him come back into the band, we'll like the old times, like how things used to be. And by the way, they're like 16-ish at this time. Obviously, it's not just Alvin making all these decisions, but like, look, this is a fantasy story that I made up at 2 a.m. So who gives a fuck if it's not accurate? Simon already had a lot of resentment for Alvin, which was already frustrating, but he went off on him for suggesting that he should crawl back to him. Like, Alvin was the only one who could ever be successful, and if Simon wasn't with him, then he was nothing. It caused the two brothers to not speak at all. Theodore and Chipette tried to convince him to apologize, but why would he be the one to apologize after Alvin basically laughed at his dreams? Now, at the ripe old age of 24, he's all washed up, and he's constantly going on these manosphere podcasts talking about how the woke mind virus is ruining our society, and just all these manosphere things that I didn't know what they talk about anymore at this point. I stopped watching those guys. Stop watching. I never watched them. I never watched those people. This out of nowhere shift led the Chipettes to not want to talk to or associate with him anymore, because it's like, what the hell, man, what's going on? They all knew Simon didn't really have any of these views, but the fact that he would do this grift just to make money really just made especially the Chipettes not want to talk to him anymore or associate with him. I know there are many Simon stands out there, and this interpretation of Simon is very off from what I think he would even grow up to be in the show. Like, I don't think he would grow up to be some incel, misogynist, but I just wanted a conflict. I wanted someone to be like the villain, even though I wouldn't say Simon's really a villain, because if I was actually going to write this story, I would want to not redeem him, even though he did a lot of bad things, because I do believe anyone can change if they put their heart and their mind to wanting to actually change. Think of this AU as the Simon is evil AU, because I definitely don't think the real Simon would end up like this. People in my real life have said I look like Simon. I don't look anything like this guy. I don't know why they're saying it. Maybe I'm not even offended that they say I look like a chipmunk. I'm offended that they're saying I look like Simon specifically. Like, why not Theodore? Why not Alvin? First of all, why not any of the girls? Why is Simon specifically? People have said it's because of my glasses, because I have like the roundish Harry Potter glasses. Rest in peace, J.K. Rowling, by the way. Personally, I don't think I look anything like him. Also, Simon's design was probably I had the worst time designing him. Like, oh my god, I hate designing dudes, especially dudes that don't have like flamboyant or like fun styles. I tried to give him that like corporate bro manosphere type of outfit, where it's like they have I didn't want to give him the super tight jeans because those are so ugly. Like, ew, I hate it. But I even give him a super chain, which is ugly and gross. I also the sweater vest I gave him in the secondary outfit, I don't think he would wear that. I think it's too cutesy for him. I think he'd wear more of a trench coat, more of a turtleneck type of thing. But whatever, I'm done drawing Simon. I didn't want to even think about his design anymore because I really had a hard time drawing him. So yeah, that's all. He looks like an asshole, and that is what I was going for. So yeah. Theodore has never really been taken seriously, both by his family and the world at large. He was always put into this box of being stupid and constantly being infantilized, not to mention the constant and rampant fat phobia that he would experience all the time. When the group split up originally, he just wanted to lead a normal life, but that doesn't work out, especially when people always see him as the dumb one and look down on him. While everyone was fighting, Theodore was trying to keep them all together. He blamed himself for everything that was going wrong, that maybe if he was more attentive and maybe if he was more present in his brothers' lives, he could have stopped them from going down these paths. Even when he was trying his best, he still wasn't enough, his only family now being the Chipettes now that Dave passed away. As he grew up, he's trying to work on a documentary with Eleanor to expose the horrors of the child entertainment industry, and he's really trying his best to reconnect with his brothers, especially Alvin, because he knows he's surrounded by toxic people. All the characters I've written, I probably feel the saddest for Theodore, because all he wanted was his family, and now they're all separated, except for the Chipettes, obviously. For his design, I made him very cutesy because he's my baby girl and my wife. I kind of don't like the costume choices, the outfit that I gave him, and also, I don't know. There's something off about his design. I don't know what it is. I think he looks a bit too babyish, a bit too childlike. Like, he is supposed to be the one who's constantly being infantilized, but I still want him to look like an adult, because in this AU, all of them are supposed to be like 24, and I feel like this doesn't look his age. I don't know. If I ever decide to do this again, which I probably won't, because this was less about the designs and more just me wanting to let out the story, but if I ever do, I probably have to like research some ways to make him look older while still, keeping, a comfy, cutesy kind of design. I definitely struggled making them look like brothers without making them look like carbon copies of each other, because I'll be worrying if I just copy and pasted all of them and make them all look the same. As I've said, this idea came to me very abruptly, so I didn't have time to innovate on ideas or like ruminate on, okay, maybe I should change this or that. I was like, okay, before all my motivation leaves for me to make this video, let me just do it. Don't worry, Theodore, get behind me, I will protect you. As I've said time and time again, I love a diva character, and Britney is a diva down. I love her so much. For her outfit, I basically just redrew her outfit from the Squeakquel because it's so perfect for her. I wanted to have that 2010 pop punk vibe, and she already had like the perfect outfit for that, so I was like, yeah, copy and paste that shit. Britney and Alvin were dating for about 5 years until the two eventually broke up because Alvin had changed a lot for the worse. At that point, Alvin wanted to distance himself as much as he could from his family, so eventually the two broke up. Britney was the one to initiate the breakup. She was still saddened by it because she still cared a lot for Alvin because they had grown up together for since they were like 14. I assume the chipmunks are like 14ish because in the movie they're in high school, but I don't think they're that old. They give off like, they're still like young teens. Anyways, back to Britney. She was very sad about the fact that her and Alvin ended up on a rough note, and she felt lost and afraid. Not afraid of being alone necessarily, but more so now that she has to confront a part of herself that she had been pushing down for a long time. Britney had always had her suspicion that she wasn't straight, but was too scared to confront that fear because she was scared of how people would react. She had played the part of the supporting, loving girlfriend of Alvin for so long that coming out or thinking of coming out was very hard for her. She ended up leaving the Chipettes when she was 22 to pursue her acting career, and now she has one of her biggest roles yet, getting the lead role of a soon-to-be hit TV show. She ended up becoming very close to one of her co-stars, and both eventually developed feelings for one another. Britney isn't ready to be in an actual relationship, especially with what feels like the whole world watching her and waiting for her to slip up and reveal her true self. When people put labels onto you and scrutinize every action you take definitely puts pressure on you and strain on your potential romantic relationships. I'm taking a lot of inspiration from, previous cases that we've seen of people trying to out celebrities before they're ready. I'm glad to see this happening a lot less now. Maybe it probably still is happening, but I'm just not seeing it as much anymore, which is good. I really hope I'm explaining these storylines well enough and they're interesting for you guys, because I didn't as I've said many times, I didn't flesh out the story at all. I was just like, okay, let me just think about where I think these characters would end up and, make it very dramatic and, shocking dramatic. I accidentally gave Britney bi colors, which looks very good on her, but she's not bi, she's a lesbian. Sorry, guys. Well, not sorry. We love bi girls and we love lesbians, period. We love her Neapolitan hair. That was also an accident, but it looks very cute. I like it. I should really start giving more characters the how do you say Neapolitan? The ice cream hair. Yes, I'm making another mean girl, diva, lesbian. I don't give a fuck. Thank you. With the Jeanette's design, I really went twee meets coquette, and if you have no idea what that means, that it just means she's both cutesy and nerdy. I had no ideas for Jeanette's story, which is why she came out the most unscathed, yeah. In my mind, she would be the most famous and successful out of all of them. She'd make mainly jazz and bedroom pop, very leve coded. She was just living her best life, and I love that for her. Let nerd girls be happy for once. I wanted to address the fact that Simon and Jeanette don't get together. Also, Theodore and Eleanor don't get together. I just don't see that for any of them. And in this AU, she's way out of Simon's league. She's not an Elbada misogynist, thank you. They liked each other when they were kids, but now Simon is a grifter, so I don't think she'd want that. Sorry to say, guys. I also had the same struggle that I had with the chipmunks with the chipettes. I don't think they look that much like sisters. Like, I don't see much of a family resemblance with them, which is sad. But I love all their designs individually, so who cares? You know what? Sometimes siblings look nothing alike, so who cares? Period. I really wanted to make sure that the chipettes and the chipmunks look zero alike, because it's very weird to me how the chipmunks and the chipettes look very similar, because obviously they're just like gender bent versions of, the chipettes are just gender bent versions of the chipmunks, and they made them love interests, but they also look very similar. And also the whole dynamic of the chipettes and chipmunks is giving very fond family and not like lovers. So I don't know, I wish because they could have made them look more distinct from them. I get like they're anthro characters in a world full of humans, they're the only one of their kind, so I get why they would look similar, but I still feel like they could have done more to differentiate the two. Maybe it's because I generally don't like this trope at all, and I also found it quite boring, to be honest. Like, maybe if they had more of a rivals to lovers kind of thing, like maybe battle of the bands type of dynamic, I would have enjoyed it more. But it was just like, oh, they're girls chipmunks, so we're gonna fall in love with them. Boring. Like, I don't know, it's just not for me. The only reason I could even kind of maybe see Alvin and Bridget being a thing, because in the TV show they kind of had that rivalry thing going on. In, this story that I'm making, they don't end up together because, Brittany is a big fat lesbo. But and also the fact that Alvin is kind of an asshole and he needs to not be in a relationship and fix himself first. It's back to Jeanette. This is her section and I've not talked about her like a bit. I think she came out really cute. I'm very sad I couldn't really think of a role for her in the story. If you guys are interested in the story, we can expand on this fan fiction, but I didn't really have any ideas for her. And yeah, moral of the story is go to therapy and, talk about your familial issues and your problems, and you end up like Jeanette, cute and successful. With Eleanor's style, I went all over the place. I really had no aesthetic in mind for her. I feel like this is an aesthetic though, but I just don't know what it is. It might be like one of those, like, maybe art ho, maybe like boho. I don't know. It's like a mix of all those. She's just queening out, to be honest. I had a lot of trouble incorporating her pigtails into the design because it makes her look very young, which is also exasperated by the fact that she has big cheeks or chubby cheeks. She has a fuller face. And I also tend to have a hard time making, characters look like adults that have like cutie styles and are also chubby. But I feel like I did well with her. And in Theodore's parts, her and Theodore are making a documentary to, expose the horrors of the, industry and how they exploit children. They had like the worst time out of all the chipmunks and the chipettes with her making music, because at least all the other characters, they had like fond memories while making music. Eleanor really did not like it at all, and it felt like it was something she was forced to do. She doesn't blame her sisters or her family because, well, I guess she blames the adults around her for not seeing that she was uncomfortable doing all these things, but she definitely doesn't blame her sisters because they were young and they just wanted to pursue their dreams. But this wasn't Eleanor's dream, and she was, thrust into this spotlight that she didn't really ever want. She was the one that, caused the chipettes to fall I don't want to say fall apart, but she's the one who caused the chipettes to, fracture out, because originally it was the three of them, but after Eleanor left, they added new members to the chipettes. It just really wasn't the same, because I assume most people are listening to the chipmunks because of, nostalgia. So when they're adding all these new singers, it, doesn't remind them of their childhood. So obviously they're not going to be wanting to listen to the newer song. Eleanor and, all the chipmunks and the chipettes were overworked to hell and back. And she ended up becoming very vocal about it. She was the most vocal of her mistreatment and the chipmunks and the chipettes mistreatment in general. She's very much an activist and she's very involved in her local community, and she uses her fame and influence to speak on, serious issues. She likes to think that her and Simon have online beef, which is so sad because that's your sister, bro. What are you doing? Generally tries to stay out of things like that because, they don't do anything and they're useless. So why, feed into this, online drama? A lot of this video was inspired by looking back at the chipmunks and seeing Uncle Ian, because they treat him as like, this joke villain, like, oh, but it's not really all that funny because he's exploiting these chipmunks, these children, and we're supposed to be laughing, ha 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 ha. Like, this isn't funny. Don't get me wrong, I still love these movies. I wouldn't be making this video if I didn't, but maybe a lot of it is nostalgia, but I still really enjoyed my time when I watched these movies back and think about them. I also did not take any inspiration at all from the TV show, or maybe a bit. Like, I think the personalities I kind of took from the TV show, because the chipmunks and the chipettes didn't really, well, all the chipmunks did have their own individual personality, quirks and traits, but I feel like the TV show gave them more personality. Maybe I'm just making that up, but that's what I feel like. Anyways, back to Eleanor. She's giving very much 2021 woke, which is, I don't think that's not, so I think that's low-key a compliment, and we need to go back to, well, maybe not 2021 woke, but we need to bring back woke, please. This video is probably my most self-indulgent and nonsensical one yet, and I love it. I really do enjoy creating stories and concepts that will probably go nowhere, but hey, I do love creating OCs and characters because I have horrible self-discipline, and even if I wanted to make a story out of them, I just don't think it would be that good as of right now anyway. Tell me which design you like the best. I actually don't know. It's really between Bridget, what's her name? Jeanette? Yeah, Jeanette and Alvin, which is very shocking because I thought Alvin's design would probably be my least serious, but I had a lot of fun designing him, and he's low-key kind of fine. I'm sorry to say that. If you want to see all my other art and the art in this video in better quality, you should go to my Instagram and Tumblr. It's probably my last video of the year. If I somehow get, the energy and time to make another one, then yay. But I'm pretty sure this will be the last one. So, happy new year, happy holidays. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.